A very good morning to all my dear students. Welcome back to the fourth class of the online session 2020-2021. So I am back with the other topics of the chapter once again. I hope you had gone through the rest of the topics which we had already covered yesterday, isn't it? In the chapter Magnetic Effects of Electric Current. So what were the topics we had covered yesterday? Let us have a quick recapitulation of those topics, okay? The very first thing we did was electric motor. That is, an electric motor is a rotating device which converts your electrical energy to mechanical energy. Yes, okay? So your electric motor is a rotating device which converts the electrical energy to mechanical energy, which is used in various components like you have your washing machines, your electric fans and so on. Alright, we had studied about the working of the electric motor. I hope you had understood about it. You have to practice the diagram. Then we had seen what were the few changes that were made in your commercial motor, isn't it? Like an electromagnet was placed in place of a permanent magnet and so on, increasing the number of turns in the coil. Okay, we had studied about the second thing that was done by Michael Faraday about electromagnetic induction, isn't it? We got a concept of the induced current through electromagnetic induction through Michael Faraday's experiment, isn't it? That is, if there is a change in the magnetic field in one conductor or in one coil, it will induce current in the other or another conductor. If you change the magnetic field in one conductor, it will induce current in another conductor. So this was electromagnetic induction. Then we had studied about Fleming's right hand rule. This was your Fleming's right hand rule. Your thumb, your forefinger and your middle finger, if all of them are mutually perpendicular to each other, this thumb will show you the direction of the conductor, movement of the conductor, in which direction the conductor is moving. This forefinger will show you the direction of the magnetic field, and this middle finger will show you the direction of induced current. So this was your Fleming's right hand rule. Alright, so these were the things we had done, the topics we had covered yesterday. Today I am going to teach you the next topic of the chapter, that is electric generator. Yes, from the topic itself, I am sure you have made out something is going on inside your mind. What is a generator? Just the opposite concept. Generator means it generates electricity. Mechanical energy is used to rotate the conductor to generate electricity in large amounts. Understood? So here we use electric generator. So before I start with the working and everything about the electric generator, let me show you the diagram of a generator. First, I am going to draw the diagram of an AC generator. AC stands for alternating current. Why is it alternating current? Because the direction of the current changes. Okay, the direction of the current changes, and alternating current is mainly used for getting large amount of electricity which is supplied to our homes, to industries and so on. So let us start with the first and foremost the diagram of the electric generator. Okay, so see, follow. Here I am drawing the magnetic field just like yesterday's drawing, somewhat similar, little bit difference is there. This is the north pole, this is the south pole, so this is the magnetic field, and we are going to place a rectangular coil on this magnetic field. So this is the rectangular coil that we are going to place, and this coil is attached, there is an axle over here. This coil is attached to the axle. This axle has two rings. This axle has two rings. Okay, supposing this is R1 and this is your R2. Got it? Or rather I write R2 over here. There are two brushes. There are two separate rings. Here I think you are able to see that I have not drawn any split rings. Yesterday, the concept of electric motor, we had seen the rings were like this. Split rings. Remember, P, Q were the split rings. And the brushes were attached to the rings, X, Y. These brushes are the conducting brushes, isn't it? In this case, you are seeing that they are not split rings, but they are total or complete rings. So R1, R2. R1 is connected with a brush, supposing X, and R2 is connected with a brush, Y. Okay. So X and Y. Or I can do one thing. I can change the name. It will be easier for you. B1, brush B1, and this is brush B2. So brush B1 is connected to R1 and brush B2 is connected to the ring R2. And the coils are connected like this. Okay. And then this whole thing is connected to a galvanometer. Okay. Like this. This coil, let me name it A, B, C, D. Okay. And this is the direction of the flow of current. From A to B, C to D, from B2 to B1, like this. Okay, so we are going to see, since this coil is placed in a magnetic field and if it rotates, it is going to induce current. It is going to induce current. Understood? So this is the thing that we are going to use. The induced current, the phenomena of electromagnetic induction is used in an electric generator. Okay. Now see, let us have, once again I am describing this figure. We have the magnetic fields, the North Pole and the South Pole, and we have kept a rectangular coil somewhere in the within the magnetic field, and this rectangular coil is A, B, C, D. You can see there is an axle. This axle can rotate, and when this axle rotates, this rectangular coil also rotates. This is connected to two rings R1, R2. In this case, these are not split rings. Ring R1 is connected to brush B1 and the ring R2 is connected to brush B2, and these are rings. They are not split rings. Okay, so what happens is, supposing initially this horizontal coil is, horizontal, kept horizontal here somewhere within the magnetic field. So what will happen is, supposing this coil is rotated clockwise. So if this coil is rotated clockwise, this arm AB will go up and the arm CD will go down. I am repeating, if this axle can rotate. Now if this coil is rotated in the clockwise direction, this arm AB will go up and the arm CD will go down. So what will happen? The current, the induced current will flow from A, B, C, D, and in the outer circuit, it will flow from brush B2 to brush B1. It will flow from brush B2 to brush B1. Is it clear? Now after half rotation, just after half rotation, the direction of the current will change. So when the direction of current changes, now if it changes and the direction of the current will be what? In the anti-clockwise direction, this time current will flow from DCBA. This time current will flow from DCBA. CD, this arm will go up, it will move up, and the arm AB or BA will go down. Once again I am repeating, if the current flows in the anti-clockwise direction just after half rotation, the arm CD will move up and the arm AB will go down. So when this happens, current flows in the opposite direction, DCBA, and in the outer circuit it flows from brush B1 to brush B2. Is that clear? This kind of current, okay, is known as induced current. This is the induced current, and the galvanometer will show deflection definitely, because galvanometer detects current, we know. Okay, so there is an induced current that is produced. Now Since this current changes after every half rotation, it changes its direction. That is why we call it alternating current or AC current. Okay. In most of the things where the electricity is supplied long distance. Okay, where electricity is supplied in long distance to homes and industries, actually AC current is used because loss of energy is less in case of AC current for long distance transmission than DC current. DC stands for direct current. Now, this is an AC generator, which is also known as an alternator. Okay, so this is the diagram of an AC generator. Once again, I am telling you, North Pole, South Pole, this is a magnetic field where a horizontal coil is kept A, B, C, D, and they are connected to an axle. Axle is having two rings, R1, R2. Ring R1 is connected to the brush B1. Ring R2 is connected to the brush B2, and they are connected to a galvanometer to detect whether induced current is there or not. Okay. So this is the structure of your AC generator. Okay. So DC generator, I'll just show you the diagram for DC generator also, so that you can have a clear, conception, a clear idea about your AC and your DC generator. You will find this diagram is there in your NCERT book. Please practice the diagram and get your concept clear. Okay. So moving on with the next part, that is your DC generator. Okay, so I am going to discuss the drawing of this DC generator, just to get your concept clear. AC generator I have already shown you. Now I am going to show you the diagram of the DC generator, and let us see what is just the basic difference between AC and DC. AC stands for alternating current and DC stands for direct current. Direct current means the direction of the current is always in one direction. It is unidirectional. In alternating current, the direction reverses, but in DC, it is always, the current flows in one direction, so it is always unidirectional. Okay, so let us see the diagram. What is the difference? Just similarly, we are going to draw a magnetic field having the two poles, North Pole, and here we have the another pole, the South Pole. Okay, and we are going to place a rectangular coil. There is an axle. Okay, here this axle has got rings. What kind of ring? It's a split ring that is used in a DC generator, just like the one we had used in electric motor. Okay, split rings. So if you replace the slip ring is this one, the complete ring. If you replace the slip ring of AC generator with split ring commutator, it becomes a DC generator. So this has a brush B1, this has another brush B2, and you can see the coil. Supposing the name of the coil is ABCD. So the coil is connected to the two brushes B1 and B2, and in the outer circuit, the brushes are connected with a galvanometer to detect whether induced current is there or not. Okay, so this is what happens. This is the basic difference between AC and DC. In AC, the direction of the current changes after a certain period of time. What is the certain period of time? In India, it is 1/100 second for AC current. 1/100 second, that means after 0.01 second, the direction reverses. Okay, so that is for your AC, and its frequency is 50 Hertz. Remember, for AC, its frequency is 50 Hertz. So in case of DC, you can see just the AC generator, the slip rings are replaced, or they are just changed, replaced by split ring commutator. And if the direction of current is always in one direction, it is going to flow. Okay, if the current flows from ABCD, it will keep on flowing in the same direction from the brush B2 to B1 in the outer circuit. So this is the basic difference between your AC and DC generator. But in your NCERT book, you have only your diagram of AC generator and the very basic difference between AC and DC generator. That's it. Okay, so all of you You must go through your books very properly, get your concepts clear. Okay, so we have studied about electric motor, your electromagnetic induction. We had already studied about the basics, that is your magnetic field. And today we have studied about electric generator, AC generator, DC generator. DC generator was just to show you the difference between AC and DC. Mainly for long distance transmission, it is the AC generator that is used because it has, for long distance current transmission, AC is used. Why? Because it has very less, the loss of energy is very less in case of AC. Okay, so alternating current, direct current. So we have done this part, and next day, tomorrow, we are going to, finish up with the last portion of the chapter. So till then, all of you read the chapter nicely, practice the diagrams, solve your worksheets, okay? And stay safe, stay healthy, and thank you and have a good day.